So today's topic is adrenal neoplasm, and as you have already have lecture classes on Cushing syndrome and other diseases that are caused due to increased secretion of adrenal cortical hormones. Okay, now adrenal neoplasms are one of the main causes that can present with Cushing syndrome. Now, at first we will have a glimpse at the latest WHO 5th edition classification of the adrenal gland tumors. Now, here we can have certain lesions in the adrenal cortex. Those are the adrenal rests, the adrenal cysts, and adrenal myelolipoma. Now coming to the adrenal cortical tumors. So these can be congenital adrenal hyperplasia, adrenocortical nodular disease, adrenocortical adenoma, and adrenocortical carcinoma. And finally, the sex cord stromal tumors and the other tumors, they have the adrenal sex cord stromal tumor, the adenomatoid tumor, and the adrenal melanoma. Now among all these entities, good news is you don't have to remember all of this. We will discuss, our session will be focused mainly on the adrenal cortical adenoma and the adrenal cortical carcinoma, and briefly about the adrenal cysts and the myelolipoma. Now, the most cortical neoplasms are sporadic, and some of them are associated with two familial syndromes. Those are Li-Fraumeni syndrome and Beckwith-Wiedemann syndrome. Okay, so can anyone among you tell me what is sporadic and what is familial? Because while discussing adrenal cortical neoplasms, we will often come across these two terminologies, sporadic and familial. Anyone? Any idea? Because from the term familial, you already have an idea about familial. Now, sporadic will be opposite of that. Sporadic non-familial হবে মানে sporadic এ আমরা কোনো genetic predisposition বলতে পারবো না। familial যেগুলো হবে সেখানে genetic predisposition বলতে পারবো, কারণ আমরা যদি genetic screening করি তাহলে কোনো না কোনো mutation আমরা সেই genetic analysis এ পেতে পারি, mutation analysis এ। কিন্তু এখানে আমরা কোনো specific target দিয়ে আমরা বলতে পারবো না যে এটার mutation হয়েছে, ওই জন্য এটা যে কোনো পার্সনের হতে পারে, মানে তার যদি কোনো family history নাও থাকে তাহলেও তার হতে পারে, that is sporadic. Okay, বসে পড়ো। তো two familial syndromes are there. One is Li-Fraumeni, where we are seeing germline mutation in TP53 gene. Okay, and TP53 we all know, these are you have in the carcinoma chapter you have read a lot about TP53, and then comes Beckwith-Wiedemann syndrome. So here we see epigenetic imprinting involving the gene of IGF-2, that is insulin-like growth factor 2. Now, another two terminologies. So we got to understand the sporadic and familial. Now there are two other terminologies, that is functional and non-functional cortical adenoma. Now the functional adenomas are most commonly associated with Cushing syndrome and hyperaldosteronism. So what is functional? In a functional adenoma, the tumor will elaborate the hormones. In a functional adenoma, the adrenal cortical tumor will elaborate the catecholamines. So they will lead to certain symptoms which are happening due to increased catecholamines like Cushing syndrome and hyperaldosteronism. In non-functional adenomas, these symptoms will not be there. Now, all the adrenocortical neoplasms are not functional. So whether it is functional or not, it will be determined by clinical evaluations and also by laboratory tests, where we are testing the blood levels of catecholamines and also the metabolites of this hormone. Coming to the adrenocortical adenoma, these are clinically silent and they are often found incidentally while the patient comes for a scan for some other disease or some other cause, other symptom. A typical cortical adenoma is well circumscribed nodular lesion and can be maximum 2.5 cm in diameter, and it expands the adrenal gland. Now in contrast to a functional adenoma which is associated with atrophy of the surrounding normal adrenal cortex. In case of non-functional adenoma, the surrounding cortex will be normal. So that is the difference, that is the morphological difference. So clinically, the difference will in between functional and non-functional is, in functional adenoma there will be all the symptoms due to increased catecholamine and increased peptide hormone secretion. But morphologically, in case of functional adenoma, the surrounding adrenal cortex will be atrophied, whereas in case of non-functional adenoma, the surrounding adrenal cortex will be normal. So the cut surface of the adenomas are usually yellow-brown, and this is due to the presence of lipid. The cut surface of a cortical adenoma, and we can see the yellow-brown appearance, and the tumor is a little bit lobulated, and it is solitary, circumscribed in nature, but only from the gross we cannot say whether it is functional or non-functional. Now coming to the microscopy. Now the microscopically these cells are, the cells of the cortical adenoma are similar to the normal cells of the adrenal cortex, and these cells have small nuclei. Some degree of pleomorphism can be there, which is normal, and this pleomorphism is termed as endocrine atypia. The cytoplasm of the neoplastic cell ranges from eosinophilic to vacuolated. Since there is lipid content, the lipid is getting accumulated into the cytoplasm of the cell, which is giving the vacuolated appearance of the cytoplasm. Now mitotic activity of this tumor is generally low, and thus the Ki67 index is also less than 5%. Okay, now these two are very important because later this will help us to differentiate from adrenocortical carcinoma. Now always remember, the Ki67 index of a tumor usually is proportional to the mitotic activity of the tumor. So whenever a tumor is having low mitotic activity, the Ki67 index is low, and it also denotes that the tumor is less aggressive or more indolent. And whenever a tumor becomes more aggressive, the mitotic index increases, Ki67 increases, and it always denotes that the tumor is becoming aggressive. Now, both the adrenocortical lesions, both the adenoma and the carcinoma, both of them will express SF1, that is a steroidogenic factor 1, and inhibin alpha. These points are very important for MCQs. Now, this is the microscopy of an adrenocortical adenoma. Here we can see that the nucleus, this round blue nucleus, they are almost similar in shape and size. Mild degree of pleomorphism can be seen, but the nucleus is almost of similar monotonous size and shape. And look at the cytoplasm. The cytoplasm is having these whitish vacuolations. This is due to accumulation of lipid inside the cytoplasm. So this is a typical picture of a cortical adenoma. Now coming to adrenocortical carcinoma. So these are rare neoplasms and they have bimodal distribution. So one group of carcinoma will happen in the first decade of life, and the other group presents in the 5th decade of life. So these adenomas, these adenocarcinomas, or cortical carcinomas, they are usually, they present as functional tumor, and they elaborate more catecholamines, and they will also lead to virilism and also clinical manifestations of hyperalbuminism. Okay, now coming to the morphology. Now, as in case of cortical adenoma, we saw that the cells were very benign looking. In this case, the cells will not be benign looking, but first coming to the gross morphology, the cortical adenomas, as you can remember, 2.5 centimeter was the average diameter of cortical adenomas, but in case of adenocortical carcinomas, these tumors exceed 20 centimeter and they efface the architecture of the adrenal gland. Less commonly, we can also have some smaller circumscribed adrenal cortical carcinomas, but in this case, it will be difficult to distinguish it from the cortical adenoma. So, cut surface is typically variegated. There can be necrosis, hemorrhage and cystic spaces, and they have a strong tendency to invade the surrounding structures, including the adrenal vein, the vena cava and the lymphatics. And metastatic to regional lymph nodes and periaortic lymph nodes are common, and so is distant metastasis. and whenever the tumor presents with distant metastasis, it is usually to the lungs and other viscera. Now this is the gross picture of an adrenal carcinoma. So here we can see the hemorrhage and necrotic areas of the tumor, and this is the normal remaining part of the adrenal cortex. So the tumor is almost covering and dwarfing the adrenal cortex here and compressing the upper pole of the adrenal cortex. And as you can see, the size, if you compare with the previous gross picture, the size is way larger than the cortical adenoma. Now coming to the microscopy, so there we can have both pictures. They may be composed of well differentiated, almost benign looking cells, and they can also be composed of monstrous, giant, bizarre cells, and these, whenever they present with these bizarre cells, it will be difficult to distinguish them from the metastasis in adrenal cortex. Okay, so one point to be noted is metastasis in adrenal cortex is far more common than primary adrenal cortical carcinoma. So many tumors, many carcinomas, and one example is bronchogenic carcinoma, they tend to metastasize in the adrenal cortex, and the percentage of that is quite higher than the incidence of primary adrenal cortical carcinoma. So whenever we are having a malignancy in adrenal cortex, we also have to think about metastasis from any secondary tumor, or that is metastasis from any previously existing carcinoma. So as I said that there can be two types of picture, one with well differentiated cells and one with bizarre looking giant cells. Now between these two pictures there can be cases where moderate degree of aneuploidia is seen and the tumor is predominantly composed of spindle cells. Now carcinomas have higher Ki67 index and higher IGF-2 levels compared to the cortical adenomas, and carcinomas particularly of bronchogenic origin may metastasize to adrenals, which I already discussed, and the rate of secondary tumor is higher than the rate of primary tumor. Now this is the microscopic picture of an adrenocortical carcinoma. Here we can see, so if you compare the picture on the top with the picture on the bottom, the picture on the bottom is that of normal adrenal cortical cells. So these cells are all having this monotonous, round, deep blue nuclei. So these are basically small blue cells, small round blue cells, and they are arranged in this monotonous fashion. And if you compare it with the picture on the top, these cells are showing moderate to marked degree of pleomorphism, because we can see that the sizes of the cell size is variable and the shape is also variable, and the cells are having abundant eosinophilic cytoplasm, and the nucleus, if you are looking closely, this nucleus was having very evenly distributed chromatin, but this nucleus is having open chromatin, and that's why we can see prominent nucleoli in many of these cells. Okay. So that was the two main things in the adrenal cortex, cortical adenoma and adrenocortical carcinoma. Now some other important entities we can see are adrenal cysts, and these are uncommon, but nowadays as the incidence of abdominal scan or abdominal USG is increasing for many purposes. It can be due to some chronic cholecystitis or appendicitis or anything. So these cysts are found incidentally, and larger cysts may produce compression and may produce with abdominal mass and flank pain, and both cortical and medullary neoplasms may undergo some cystic degeneration and may present as non-functional cysts. Next is adrenal myelolipoma. So as the name suggests, myelolipoma. So what do you understand by myelo? Myelo means bone marrow. So marrow means myelo, and lipoma, you all know lipoma is benign adipocytic tumor. So from the name only you can guess that these tumors will have simultaneously, it will have lipid cells, fat cells, benign adipocytic cells, and along with that there will be bone marrow cells. These are also found as incidental finding, and histologically we are seeing mature fat and hematopoietic cells. So mature fat, mature adipocytes are mixed with hematopoietic cells of all three lineages. So there will be erythroblast, there will be leucoblast, and there will also be megakaryocytes, which is mixed with the mature fat. And foci of myelolipomatous change may be seen in cortical tumors and in adrenal with cortical hyperplasia. Okay, now coming to the term incidentaloma, you may have come across this term often. So incidentaloma is a term which is newly introduced in the medical lexicon, and it refers to the masses, adrenal masses, which are discovered during abdominal scan of an asymptomatic individual or an individual who has presented with symptoms that are not related to the adrenal gland. So what do I mean by this? Asymptomatic patients often can go for annual health checkup and annual abdominal USG scan, and these tumors can be found. And say for example a patient is presenting with some kind of pain in right hypochondrium or pain that is associated with chronic cholecystitis. This patient goes for a scan and then tumor is found in the adrenal. So this tumor will be termed as adrenal incidentaloma, and prevalence is as high as 4% and increases proportionately with increasing age, and vast majority of these lesions are small non-secreting cortical adenomas and they don't have any clinical importance.